My mom sits up, and there is she said it's like 7 foot tall.
Really? I didn't know it was that big.
7 foot tall, cloaked shadow figure standing at the end of her bed. Welcome to Sincerely Supernatural, where we attempt to decipher the strange, mysterious, and unexplained through a biblical lens. My name is Seth, and I'm your host.
And my name is Hudson. I am your other host.
And this is our pilot episode. How long have we talked about doing a podcast?
You've wanted to do a podcast for more than a decade.
Yeah.
Since
I think I may have attempted one once, but I didn't have an awesome co-host, so it failed miserably.
That was like was that in the early 2000s?
You were pretty young.
When I was pretty young.
Maybe we should explain something.
Maybe we should explain.
I'm your dad.
And I'm your son.
In real life.
Yeah.
Not on TV.
We are a father-son podcast.
Yes. Let's get that out of the way. So if Hudson at any point calls me Papa,
I probably won't
do that. Or if I call him Bubs or something, it's not weird because we are father-son.
Yes.
But anyway, yes, I did attempt a podcast a long time ago when it was pretty fresh and new, but we're both kind of hobbyists in the film, audio,
editing, visual effects.
That brings me to a good point. This podcast is through a biblical lens.
Yes.
Which means we're both Christians.
Yes.
We both believe in Jesus.
We both believe Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior.
But I will make a statement that you don't have to be a Christian.
Absolutely.
To watch or listen.
Or enjoy.
To Sincerely Supernatural. There's lots to enjoy, and you may learn something.
This is just what we think explains these strange and mysterious events, phenomenons, mysteries.
So all are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Come in, listen to some spooky stories.
Yep.
Maybe learn something.
And we will try to decipher it through a biblical lens, but there might be some scenarios or situations that have a completely normal explanation that doesn't involve the supernatural or Christianity in any sense.
Yes, good point. And I would like a little disclaimer for our Christians, brothers and sisters out there, that nothing that we talk about here is going to compromise what we believe is the core gospel, that Jesus is God's son. He came and lived a perfect life.
Mm-hmm.
He died on the cross for our sins and rose 3 days later. Nothing that we talk about is to compromise that. But there is going to be some opinion and some conjecture on our part about what this is.
We might get a little out there with our ideas. But
just know we're still going to heaven.
Yeah.
All right. Why in the world would two Christian father and son? Why would we want to do this?
Are you asking?
Yeah. Why?
I mean, we talk about this stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We have for years, and we enjoy listening to other people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some experiences as well that we want to share.
Mm-hmm.
And we just thought it'd be fun to share our experiences and our opinions.
Most people know me as like the paranormal guy.
The Bigfoot guy.
Yeah, or like the conspiracy theory guy.
Yeah.
But it all kind of sprang from stuff that has happened to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably go into our own personal stories of what brought us to this point where we're Christians,
Yeah.
but we've had really weird things happen to us, and somehow we have to rectify that.
And that's kind of what this first episode is about. We don't really have a set topic today. It's just our experiences and why we're doing this.
So we're out here in the middle of nowhere. It's getting cold.
We built a fire.
Night has fallen. We've built a fire. We will be warm, but we're here to give you some true stories that happened to us and get into why we think paranormal, supernatural stuff is not wrong for Christians to talk about.
Yeah. That was a big point, I kind of wanted to talk about is I enjoy scary movies, horror movies, scary video games and horror games. Not in the sense of like super violent, like slasher. It's just gory for the sense of being gory. But the mystery and the thrill and the kind of spooky, themes that media and books and movies and stuff, they give off. And yeah, we just kind of want to talk about, as a Christian, is that an okay thing to interact with, that kind of media?
Is it okay
I think
a
it is.
Christian
Yeah.
to watch a horror movie?
And we might not get into that today. We might get into it a little bit, but
Sure.
we could have a whole episode in the future about, is it okay to watch Harry Potter? Or
Is it okay to watch Star Wars?
is it okay to watch Lord of the Rings?
Yes,
Christians love Lord of the Rings.
they do.
And
There's a lot of magic in
Gandalf
that, though.
is a wizard. It says in the Bible not to practice sorcery. Is that okay?
Oh, my goodness.
Is it the same kind of sorcery and magic that the Bible is talking about?
So when you say horror movie, I think most people think of like slasher movies.
Yeah, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Scream. I haven't seen either of those movies.
Right.
A good example, Stranger Things. Not talking about the language or that kind of, but from the horror side, that's kind of the thing I'm into is the strange and mysterious mystery. But it's, got like a hint of
Right.
something weird is going on.
You're not in it for the blood.
No.
You're not in it for like the murder.
Or even a better example, the TV show Severance, which we both love. That's not really horror. It's more mystery thriller. But there's just this weird vibe going on. And you're like, what the heck is going on in this place? That's the thing that I love. The mystery, but it's even more than that. It's like they're lying to us or something just doesn't seem right. That's the kind of thing that I love. But we're getting a little off topic.
Yes. And I'll just say to tie that up, I think that God put the desire to like seek out and
Seek the truth.
find what's behind the mystery. So yeah, we can do a whole episode on
What's
what is-
okay, what's
yeah.
not, all that.
Yeah, but on topic wise, we could talk a little bit about why I'm a Christian, but I still believe in stuff like Bigfoot, UFOs, and
Yeah,
ghosts.
absolutely.
So you've probably heard this story a million times,
I have.
but it's story time. I grew up in a haunted house, and it wasn't like, a little bit haunted. It was like poltergeist haunted.
Yeah.
Poltergeist, German word for noisy ghost.
Like, sorry, really quick. Do you
Yeah.
mind if I interject
Yeah, go.
and say stuff?
Interject, my friend. I mean,
It
well,
wasn't like you heard something a few times in your house. Like, pretty much everyone in your family experienced something extremely weird.
Yes. And I mean, there are all kinds of stories, but I'll start with probably, I'll give you a couple of the more spooky ones. We moved to the Northwest, like we moved into the foothills, basically, of the forest in like 1980. We drove here while Mount St. Helens was erupting.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
You thought it was snowing when it was.
Yeah. So I was like 3 years old when we moved here, and my parents had bought property, and it was like a wooded 3 acres. And my dad built a log house on the property. My parents did.
I didn't know he built that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's a very talented man. Yeah. So we're out in the woods in a new place in the Northwest. This wasn't an old house that was built on a Civil War battlefield or something like that.
You guys built it.
Yeah.
Just in the woods.
The first thing that I remember, the super crazy thing, was my dad was working out of town. He was a plumber, and he was working out of town because there wasn't a lot of work where we lived. And in the middle of the night, I wake up to pots and pans just being thrown all over the kitchen floor. That's what I thought it was. And I was like, oh, it's like early morning. My mom is getting breakfast ready.
Yeah.
But then I fell back asleep.
Because when you're asleep in the morning and you hear your parents doing something, it always sounds louder than it really is.
It was loud. That is not what happened. It was not pots and pans. It wasn't until years later when I was talking to my mom that I learned what it really was. And at the end of my parents' bed, there was this little alcove where they were going to put a sink eventually, like a lav, because there was a bathroom beyond that. And in that spot, they had shoved one of those huge shop vacs in there, and it barely fit.
Yeah.
And then right next to the shop vac, my mom put her ironing board, like stuffed in between the wall and the vacuum cleaner. So there was no way for it to fall this way or that way. What had happened was, in the middle of the night, something pulled the ironing board out and slammed it on the floor. And when she woke up, because it woke her up, she didn't move. She was horrified.
Yeah.
In the morning, that ironing board was laying, parallel with the foot of the bed. So something pulled it all the way out of the alcove and slammed it on the floor. And it wasn't too long after that my mom asked me the strangest question that when I was a little kid, I was like, why is she asking me this?
Yeah.
But she said, do you guys have any books on ghosts at your school library? And I was like in elementary school.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I think so, because we were like into monster books and stuff when we were little kids. So I checked out like 2 books about ghosts and brought them home to my mom. And after that, things just kind of ramped up. Like,
really?
Stuff really started getting weird. And this is, we can talk about this later, but this is why I believe that ghosts, for the most part, are demonic entities.
Yeah.
Because my mom talked this one day about, she watched a TV show where a ghost sat on the end of someone's bed. And I was like, that sounds like the most horrifying thing ever. Remember, I'm in grade school.
Yeah.
One night I'm laying in bed. We always went to bed before my parents, so you could see like the TV like flashing on the inside of our bedroom from the light from the TV. And I'm laying in bed awake. My brother is on the other side of the room. We share a bedroom. And I feel something sit on the end of my bed so heavy that it bent my toes down. And instantly, like my whole body, I'm just like shocked, scared.
Yeah.
So I kind of like look down at my toes and there's nothing down there that you can see. So I pulled my feet up and I rolled out of bed and I walked all the way around the end of my bed and went and told my parents that something was sitting on the end of my bed.
Could you see the bed go down at all?
It was kind of dark in there.
Okay.
But what I do know is, like, something so heavy sat on the end of my bed that it sat on the end of my feet.
Yeah.
Like I had to like pull my toes out. No, you're just dreaming. That you're just having a bad dream. There's nothing in your room.
I mean, what are you supposed to tell your little kid?
I know, right? You're like, well, it's probably a demon. We should go in there and pray over it and stuff like that. So that was one of the scariest things that happened to me personally. There were other little things like that. It always happened at night usually. But when I was laying in bed, I was looking out my door, and my 2 oldest brothers, their room was on the other side of the hallway, and the end of the hallway was like right by our doors. And I thought my oldest brother was standing so that the light was casting his shadow onto the wall of our room.
Yeah.
And I was like, Rick, quit doing that. Like, Rick, stop. You're not scaring me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started like panicking because he wouldn't move. And I was like, Rick, quit standing there. And then I hear them like in the other room. They were on the couch watching TV.
Yeah.
So there was a shadow person on my wall. And there was other little things like you would walk into a room and you would try to flip the light on and the light wouldn't turn on.
Mm-hmm.
Come back a couple seconds later and it would turn on. I know that doesn't sound scary, but when you're a little kid and you're going into a dark room, you're like, why won't the light turn on? Some really other weird stuff happened there too.
You got to tell the story about what your mom saw that one night. That's like...
My mom, your grandmother?
Yeah.
Oh, this didn't happen to me, but it happened to her, and my dad was home at that time.
Oh, was she not home for these other events you're talking about? Or, yeah. Was she alone?
She was alone for the ironing board getting pulled out and thrown down.
Okay.
He was there off and on.
Yeah.
He was home for this one, though, and this was probably the apex.
This is crazy.
Okay. When I was little, I used to get up out of bed, and I would sleepwalk into my parents' room and crawl up in between them and go to sleep. They would let me stay there until I kicked their covers off, and then they would take me back to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So one night, they built the house, so it was a little bit unfinished. So like the baseboard trim wasn't done yet, and they had a pile of it laying at the foot of their bed. So this one night, they hear the footsteps. They don't see anything. They're like, it's me. It's Seth coming in. They hear something trip over the trim laying at their foot of their bed.
Mm.
And then they feel the bed go down in the middle. But I never crawl up. So my mom's laying there like, is he going to crawl up? What's the deal? My mom sits up. And there is she said it's like 7 foot tall.
Really? I didn't know it was that big.
7 foot tall, cloaked shadow figure standing at the end of her bed. She said it looked like Darth Vader. She says, Phil, there's someone in the house, because she thought someone had broken in.
Yeah.
My dad jumps out of bed, flips on the light, opens his like top drawer to grab his gun.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing there.
Didn't she see it walk out though?
When he jumped up, she said it walked out the outside wall of the house. Like it walked
just
through the wall. And then it was gone. But the whole place was crazy creepy. And other things happened that we can go into on other episodes if you want. But one of the big takeaways was we moved from that house in 1990. And the first night that we slept in our new house, I had this weird peace. Like I didn't feel like anything was watching me.
Yeah.
I realized that as a kid growing up in a haunted house, I always felt there was something else in there, something always like staring back at me from different rooms in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I was always afraid to be in the house alone.
Mm-hmm.
There was just this weird, heavy something watching you, something evil, something weird in that place. And I've been back to that house several times since we moved as an adult.
Yeah.
Still get the same weird feeling.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think I've been there too.
It's just weird.
I've never been inside, but...
Took your mom there a couple times. She gets freaked out. There's just I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
I don't know why it is the way that it is, but it was freaky.
Maybe the veil is a little thinner.
I think it is in that area.
That area.
Because you lived with us in that area for a little while when you and your sister were kids, and there was weird stuff that would happen at the house that we lived in there.
Oh yeah, there was. Mom had a few weird things, like dryer doors slamming, just a few different weird things.
The dryer door slamming thing was really weird because the dryer was running, and then the door would open, and Mom would go in there.
Yeah.
And she would stuff the clothes back in,
And
shut
then-
it, start it. And we're like, it must just have built up pressure. And then she would walk away. Boop.
Yeah.
The door would open again.
And then I think my sister, your daughter,
My daughter.
I think she had some weird, I think she heard some people, because we kind of shared a room. There was a wall dividing it, but it had the same doorway to get into both. And there was like a little, one of those metal
Threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you stepped on it, you could hear it.
Yep.
And I think she heard
I remember
when
that.
I was gone or something, she would hear that it sounded like something stepped on it.
Yeah, because it was a very distinctive sound when you stepped on it. Like you knew exactly like if someone was coming in the room because
Yeah.
it made that sound.
Yeah.
Needless to say, when that dryer incident was going on, I was home one day for that. So I witnessed that once. We prayed out loud in the house. Didn't happen again after that. So
Yeah.
for you non-Christians, and for you Christians,
Yeah.
there's power, a more powerful power.
Yeah. And quick tangent. I agree with you that ghosts, for the most part, are demonic. But I definitely think there's a discussion about could it be something else in some circumstances?
Yes.
I think for the most part, what people attribute to ghosts is a malicious demonic presence. But I'm definitely open to other,
Yeah.
explanations for different situations and stuff like that.
Have you ever heard of the stone tape theory?
I think let me explain it really quick.
So it's like the matter around you absorbs energy. So if like something really emotional happens, like the Civil War, like a battle or a murder or something, the matter around you absorbs it almost like a recording, and it will play over again because there are like instances
I have heard of that.
of ghostly happenings where it's like at this time on this night, this lady just walks through and she doesn't even look at you.
Yeah. Or in our area, there's a mansion that is, rumored to be haunted, and people have had experiences there. And the things I see are the residents that lived there. And so, it could be demons pretending to be these people, but it could also just be an imprint of these people that lived there. And I don't know. There's a lot of unexplained.
Yeah.
But I totally agree that largely it is a malicious, demonic spirit or something like that. I didn't want to cut you off. Did you have any more stories?
No, I was just thinking about the theories that people have of what ghosts are.
Yeah.
There's like the stone tape theory and the demonic theory. There's the theory that it's just people who have passed on and they haven't gone
They're in limbo.
to heaven or hell or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I would have to dig deeper in the Bible for that type of thing. But maybe a person who is not a Christian and they don't have anywhere to go yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But makes sense.
Again, disclaimer. We still believe that Jesus.
Yeah.
This is all opinion.
Yeah.
And conjecture.
Conjecture.
But I want to hear.
Yeah.
You have like one of the most interesting, spooky
This one's weird.
little stories that I've ever heard.
Yeah. This is my only big interaction with the supernatural. There's been a few things. It's kind of a funny story. Me and my cousins were sneaking down. I don't know why I said sneaking. We were walking down by a river. It was dark out, and we heard some ginormous rock hit the water. And I think we came back a few times with different friends, and it happened again. And we were like, "There's a Bigfoot throwing rocks in the water when we get too close." It was just a beaver because they hit the water when they're scared. I'm pretty sure. So
They slap it with their tail.
That was the one where I was like, we found them. But that's not the one we were talking about. That was just kind of a funny story. I think I've seen a UFO once or twice, but it was far off, just a light in the distance. So maybe, I don't know. But the one we're talking about, I was between 5 and 6, maybe 7. I can't remember if we had just moved into this house or not.
I think we'd been there for like a year or something.
It's like 5, 6, or 7. And Morgan, is it okay if I say her name?
Morgan, we just let everyone know that your name is Morgan.
My sister Morgan, I can't remember what we were doing, but in the layout of this house, it was a giant circle. So you would walk in and you can go to the right, which was the living room, and then the dining room, and then the kitchen, bathroom, master bedroom, and then you're back at the front. Right. And in the middle wall, one side stairs go up to our rooms, and then on the other side stairs go down to the basement. So I think can't remember if we were by the entryway in the living room or if we were in the kitchen, but I heard my sister say, like, follow me, I want to show you something. And so I go around the circle and I get to the stairs going up to our bedrooms, and I look up and I see, it's so hard to explain. It was like a shadow figure of a man, but it was outlined in this was so long ago, it's hard to, it was a shadow figure that was translucent, but the outline was like made of like stars, if that makes sense.
Like sparkling?
It wasn't like it didn't emit any light, but there was like a noticeable outline of
fuzziness, static.
That's perfect, but it didn't like give off any light. And it almost looked like this guy was not dancing, but like he would jump to one foot and then jump up to the next step on like his other foot, and he would like jump up alternating feet. No normal person goes up the steps like that. Frankly, I don't think you can with the way gravity works, but he was like jumping from foot to foot up the steps.
How big?
How big was it? I can't remember. It wasn't like tiny, or it wasn't super big.
Okay, but how tall do you think? 2 feet, 3 feet?
No, like it was a normal man. It was either like, I don't know. It could be anywhere from 5 to 6 feet. It was like a normal person.
I thought it was a little guy.
No, unless I'm misremembering, because I remember immediately. Well, and then because Morgan had told me to come find her, I saw that, and then she was in the bathroom. So it wasn't her going up the steps.
What?
Yeah. And then I remember.
Wait a minute.
What?
I always thought that it actually was her calling you. Are you saying?
No, it was she calling. It was her calling me. She did call me.
I was like,
I went to go find her.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. This is years ago. I barely remember this. I know it's true though, because we'll get into it in a minute. I still remember seeing it. And she was in the bathroom. And then I remember I told you immediately, because you were there, you were making a fire or something at the fireplace. I can't remember what I told you, but I remember I did.
I thought you said you saw a little man running up the stairs.
Maybe it was smaller, but it wasn't like a hobbit, like 2 feet tall. So I told you that. And then I was, I don't know, 6. You probably told me that it was nothing. I don't know.
I think I do remember, like, it's all okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think your mom and I prayed in there.
Yeah. And then the weird part, my cousin, I can't remember if this was like, I think mom said it was a week or a few weeks later.
It was pretty close to when you saw it.
He said he went to mom and he told her that he saw someone walking up the stairs.
Yeah.
And it was like the same description as me.
Yeah.
And I've talked about it with him, in recent years, and we both have the same description of like a weird, fuzzy, outlined figure, like dancing up the stairs in a weird,
What in the world?
So I don't know what that could be, because just the way it was moving was just, I'm sure if I saw it today, it would be scarier, if that
Like,
makes sense.
Very uncanny.
Yeah, just not right. Like,
Not
no
human.
human walks like that. It's just weird.
This is like, you telling it now is giving me the chills.
Well, it's probably because we're in the middle of the woods.
Yeah. But it's also like, there's stuff that you're telling me that I didn't know
Yeah.
actually happened. So when you get to the top of those stairs were your bedrooms, Morgan's was on the right.
Mine
yours
was on the left.
Did you guys ever have any?
We had, and this one I'm not so sure about. So this was kind of cool, but kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So you go up the stairs, you go to the left of my room, or you go to the right to hers.
Mm-hmm.
But on both sides of our walls, we had doors that went into it was like an attic, but on the sides of our rooms, and it connected both of our rooms. So we had these like hidden passageways that between our rooms. I remember in one of them we made like a clubhouse with our cousins, and we would hang out in there. But at the same time, as like a 6-year-old sleeping up in that room, knowing that there's secret passageways on either side of my bed was like,
something could crawl through there.
I remember I had to ask you a few times to like come listen upstairs, because I would hear like a creak or something. So I don't remember anything specific, and it could have just been because I was a kid, but I remember feeling always creeped out in that room.
I remember checking those doors for you and Morgan.
Yeah.
At certain times. And it was creepy. I mean, yeah. Sorry we did that too.
I mean, it was the perfect place for the kids' bedrooms. I don't know where else we would sleep at, but
I can't think of any other weird things that happened at that house.
Mm-hmm.
But it is weird that the same exact thing happened to you and your cousin.
Yeah.
And while we've been talking about this, it's kind of made me realize something. Is it seems like these types of encounters happen most to children.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I have a theory about that.
Okay, what is it?
Oh, someone just recently told me about a little kid. Like, I think it was my cousin. I think he said his son will like talk about like, why is that guy there?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to expound on this.
Well, I don't. That's pretty much it.
No, not that story, but like, what do you think?
Oh,
why do kids?
We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But you'll hear tons of stories of kids. I mean, I'm not saying every imaginary friend is a ghost or a demon or whatever, but you hear stories of kids talking about, people or figures or seeing things that adults can't see. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty common thing I've heard of. And all my theory is for some reason kids are more, I don't know if it has to do with brain development or it's more on the spiritual side. For some reason kids can see, and I'm talking about like toddlers who can barely talk.
Yeah.
They can like see more than us, or they're more susceptible to these kinds of things.
I think it could be brain development.
Yeah.
But I also think that it could be the enemy
trying to mess with them.
To mess with or corrupt or hurt
Absolutely.
kids because he's so malicious.
Yeah.
So another good reason to pray over your kids at night.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you remember the one story of your mom's friend who had a little boy or girl, I can't remember, had a little kid that was just at the point where they were talking.
Oh, yeah.
And they were in their room. I don't know if they were getting like diaper change or changing their clothes or something. Mm-hmm. And the kid is like yelling at something in the doorway or something, or saying no to it or whatever. And the kid's mom says, "Who are you talking to?" And the kid gets quiet for a second. And then the kid says, "Say no one." So something told the little kid, "Say no one."
That is like
evil.
No kid. Well, first of all, like that's just a weird thing for them to say. And I'm not saying this kid was pretending, but like a kid isn't smart enough. If they were trying to trick their parents, a kid isn't smart enough to say that.
Not at that level.
The fact that gives me like a chill down my spine.
It's so
The mom says,
evil.
"Who are you talking to?" And the kid says, "Say no one."
Yeah.
Because whatever it was,
Said, say no one. So something evil.
that is like horrifying.
But the kid could see it. The mom couldn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what allows a child? Is it that early brain development?
Probably. Yeah.
And then as we get older, we lose it because our brains don't fire on the same level. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
But it does seem to happen to kids more than it does to adults.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
We've talked about what got us to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Why we believe in the paranormal and the supernatural, because this stuff has happened to us.
Yeah.
But in upcoming episodes, we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Anything we find interesting or mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
Different paranormal events, famous ones, broader topics like UFOs,
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot, ghosts, specific ghosts. You know, there's the Hat Man.
Mm-hmm.
There's sleep paralysis, which I don't even know if that one's demonic. I think that is just a natural phenomenon, because that's something I've experienced.
Have you had it?
Mm-hmm.
I've had it happen to me too when I was a little kid.
I've had it happen a lot. I've only hallucinated once,
Whoa.
where I saw something in my room.
What?
It was
Is that a
weird.
normal thing with sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
Hallucination?
Oh yeah.
I did not know
Auditory
that.
and visual hallucinations. The reason I've done a lot of research into this,
Mm-hmm.
the reason I think it's, let me rephrase that. I think the enemy could use it.
Just
and
exploit it.
could appear to you when you're
Mhm.
having sleep paralysis, but I don't think hallucinations are always spiritually,
Right.
you know.
You could have a high
Because,
fever.
I mean, I was having a dream,
Mhm.
and then I woke up with sleep paralysis, and what I had seen in the dream, I saw in my room.
Whoa.
So
That's crazy.
it was weird. I think I've told you about this, have I not?
Maybe. I remember having it when I was a kid
Yeah.
in the haunted house.
Yeah.
And I think it happened to me twice.
Mm-hmm.
But man, you just wake up horrified and you can't yell or anything.
You can't move. Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
We'll do an episode on sleep paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Stuff like that. Different kind of ghosts we can talk about. Take any topic, Bigfoot, whatever. There's tons of different stories and stuff we could talk about.
I think that we could also go into some conspiracies,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because behind most conspiracies
Mhm.
is a bad actor, whether spiritual
Yeah.
or physical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Conspiracies, there's all kinds of cryptids we could
Mhm.
talk about. Yeah, anything spooky, mysterious, unexplained.
We're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to tackle it. It'll be fun.
Mhm.
We'll have guests.
Yeah.
Your mom has a really good Bigfoot story.
Yep. We know someone with lots of, I wouldn't say lots of, but more Bigfoot experience
Mm-hmm.
than we've ever had.
He wrote a book on
He
it.
wrote a book on it.
Yeah. He's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Pilot episode. So much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking by and listening and watching.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed.
If you have any stories that you want us to read on air,
Mhm.
or if you want to like record it on your phone and email it to us, you can email us at sincerelysupernatural@gmail.com. All right. Thanks for coming to this episode
This has been great.
of Sincerely Supernatural,
Yeah.
and we will catch you in the next one.